Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. Please join a very warm and hearty welcome to our most honored and beloved Chief Guest and Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, Honorable Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Education. We're extremely privileged and honored to have his gracious and benign presence amongst us today for this momentous occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now extend a very warm welcome and ask you to also join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari, Secretary, MSTE, Ambassador Mr. Atul Keshav, President, USIBC, and Senior Vice President of South Asia, US Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Vipin Sondhi, Chairman, CI Mission on Tech, Innovation and Research and Future Mobility, and former MD and CEO of Ashok Leyland and JCB India, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General CII, and Mr. Raghav Narsle, Managing Director of Accenture Research. An extremely warm welcome to all our distinguished delegates, government officials, students, and friends from the media. May I now request our Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, to kindly light the ceremonial lamp, and also requesting other esteemed dignitaries on the stage to join in lighting of the ceremonial lamp. Distinguished dignitaries for the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. If lighting of the ceremonial lamp is part of our culture and tradition, Atiti Deva Bhava is also an eminent part of our culture and tradition. And today we would like to begin this tradition by welcoming our Honorable Minister to this momentous occasion. And to do the honors, may I please request Shri Atul Kumar Tiwari Ji to please welcome our Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your benign presence amongst us, and we welcome you to your own heartland, Odisha. A small word, ladies and gentlemen, about this beautiful Uttarya that has been presented. It is a Kotpad Uttarya woven by the indigenous tribal community of the Koraput region of Odisha, and it is made by using natural dyes, and it is also a very sustainable piece of textile. May I now request Mr. Vipin Sondhi to kindly do the honors in welcoming our other dignitaries. Mr. Sondhi, may I request you to please welcome Secretary, Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari Ji. May I request you to please welcome Ambassador Mr. Atul Keshav. May I request you to please welcome Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee. And request you to welcome Mr. Raghav Narsle. And now we would like to welcome Mr. Vipin Sondhi also with a traditional Uttarya. So we would also like to welcome you with a traditional Uttarya. Thank you. Namaskar, I am Sanhati Pani, extending a very warm welcome to the conference on Deep Tech with a focus on advanced tech in the future of work. The Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, is hosting the precursor events to the G20 Working Group in Bhubaneswar in partnership with Deloitte, who's a knowledge partner, CII and USIBC, who are the industry partners. Technology is not just the future, but rather the present, which will help transform the future. The present times have made it absolutely evident and necessary to adopt technology in various aspects of life. The COVID pandemic literally pushed us towards technology as a form to continue life, even if we were limited in our own movements. We may not have been prepared then, but now with the valuable lessons learnt, some may even have been painful, but we are now prepared to approach situations with better preparedness. Advanced technologies are driving changes in the nature of work, from robotics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the gig economy are just a few applications of deep tech that are reshaping the workforce and creating what is called the augmented workforce. As a result, we must rethink the way as we design jobs and adapt to the new reality to ensure future growth. India, with its flourishing startup base in deep tech and a strong pool of STEM talent, is uniquely positioned to influence the future of work. To delve deeper into the theme and gather a well-rounded perspective on the advent of deep tech and its impact on the future of work, several panel discussions in this theme have been organized. Technology is indeed the catalyst to transform, which will help skilling and education to translate into economic independence and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, with these words, I would like to now invite Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General of CII, requesting him to kindly make his welcome address.
Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, the Honorable Minister of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Education, who is not just only the chief guest for this great conference that we are having here. This conference itself is a brainchild of his, and it's such a great, deep honor and pleasure to be with him, with this phenomenal group that we have, and to be present with him in his own land. And of course, we see the warmth, the affection, the respect that he commands, and it's always great to be here. Welcome to you, sir, and thank you for being with us and gracing this very, very important occasion. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Minister. My welcome also to Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari, the Secretary, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, who is spearheading this conference in terms of its content and organization. And always a great pleasure to work with him. Ambassador Atul Keshav. Atul's been with the USIBC, as you know, and again, a person well known in India and someone with whom it's always been a great pleasure working with, and many areas of work that we have chosen to work together between our two industries of the two great countries. And also with us, Vipin Sondhi, who is been contributing in a very significant way from the industry on the area of future of work, and especially the type of jobs that we really expect Indian industry and the world to come up with. And I'll talk about the world a little later. And of course, Raghav, who is from Accenture, who's going to give us a lot of insights. A phenomenal crowd, a group of people here from industry, of course, a big portion of the Indian industry, from many parts of India. The academia, again, which we always wanted to have that interaction between academia and industry, the multilateral agencies, which is a very important part of this conference today, and very importantly, our young friends and students. A very warm welcome to each one of you for this conference on deep tech with a focus on advanced technology in the future of work. And great to be in Bhubaneswar to really do this event. Honorable Minister, you are heading two of the very important ministries for our country, Education Ministry and the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. And this is really a part of human resources building for a country like ours, which is one of the most important focused countries, if I can say, in the entire of the world. And with these two ministries, you have been making some of the most path-breaking and some phenomenal, if I can say, policy changes in the last few years. And under your ministries, there has been serious discussions and impetus which is given to really impart skills to a huge number of people, the new skills, the emerging skills, and many credible steps, if I can say, have been taken. And of course, we all know about the new education policy, and it's great to also way that you have involved different stakeholders in the new education policy, the NEP 2020, in terms of its implementation as we go ahead. And one of the important stakeholder group to which I belong, the industry, is the way you have involved them in partnership is really of great value. Then also the National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2023, and we see that as it is implemented, that will lead to something like a huge development of agile and future-ready workforce, something that we are going to talk about. And I wanted to mention this because this has significant importance to the group, the discussants who are all present over here, and again achieved under the leadership of our Honorable Minister. Another important point has been the creation of digital university, and by getting various universities to come together and form the digital university is again something which is extremely unique. And what we always laud is the way you have again involved, partnered, listened to everyone as you have taken this forward. I could also talk about how under your ministries you have launched the new national credit framework, and its implementation again will really transform experimental learning to academic credibility. I could also mention about Desh Stack Portal, again something which is the world has looked at it, the digital ecosystem for skill building and livelihood under your ministry, which will really lead to so much of livelihood for millions of youth of our country. I could go on, sir, and one has been seeing so many steps which are which really supplements, buttress the way, the speed with which India is growing and changing, and these are exactly the steps which are required to have the human capital for which can really support the type of growth. Honorable Minister, today we would, of course, as we complete this session, we will come back to you with the recommendations that will emerge from it. But in this year, which is a very important year of G20 presidency of India, and as an institution, we are working on the B20 side, the B20 part of it, which is a very important engagement group. And to really work with your ministry has been of great value for the Indian industry. And in the B20, through our task force, there is a task force, there are 9 task forces, but there is a task force in the B20 framework, which is called the Task Force on Future of Work, Skilling and Mobility. And we have global membership in these task forces, which talks about it, which talks about mapping of the roles of especially the job roles that are coming up in the future. Second, the framework for skill harmonization for the G20 countries. So we are talking to the businesses of all the G20 countries, and universal labor information management system. So all of this are so important from our industry B20 perspective, and therefore the guidance that we will receive from this conference through your participation and with the leadership of our Honorable Minister, I think it will benefit us from the industry in a great way. But I'd like to just end by once again thanking and welcoming each one of you to this very significant and important conference. And I'm really grateful to the Honorable Minister for the way he has brought in so many stakeholders to partner in an initiative which will touch the lives of millions of people in our country. Honorable Minister, thank you very much again for your leadership. We really look forward to continuing this engagement deeply as we take the recommendations of this conference forward. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for also being here, and thank you to this wonderful opening session panel. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, for your warm welcome address and also for touching upon some of the key initiatives of CI's industry perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite Mr. Raghav Narsale, who's the Managing Director of Accenture Research, and request him to kindly set the context on the future of work.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, more than a minister, a collaborator, I must say. So thank you very much for that role. Secretary Shri Atul Kumar Tiwari ji, once again a fascinating collaborator. Shri Chandrajit Banerjee, Ambassador Atul Keshav, Shri Vipin Sondhi. On behalf of Accenture, let me express my deep gratitude for offering us the opportunity to set the context of future of work at this August precursor conference to the G20 Education Working Group. When we think about work, at least the two things that come to our mind is worker, workplace. And of course, the third thing is factors of production. We all know that these factors of production, which are building supply networks, are highly intertwined and interconnected. But now what is very important is to connect the workers to the workplace. And this is very important, and why do I say so? Because our research, which was published in 2022 in the aftermath of the COVID crisis, which was based on a survey of about 5,000 workers across skills levels and about more than 1,000 C-level executives, suggests that only 1 in 6 workers feels truly connected to their work, their team, and organization. The same research reveals that just 1 in 5 workers is comfortable at sharing problems or raising conflicts with their colleagues. And this is very important because the work, you cannot take the workplace away from the worker. That's where his karma bhumi is, right? And that's very, very important. Also important is to build the growing relationship between human and the machines, especially in the aftermath of this crisis. We saw that in the COVID crisis, robots saved human life. We saw that humans need not be necessarily be operating from from their workplace to create tangible value, but they could use the power of digital and machine technologies, sit at homes, and clearly build that tangible value. We are seeing solutions to planetary challenges such as climate change, opening new job opportunities that can be materialized by combining the power of humans and machines. For example, it's humanly impossible to clean an extensive farm of solar panels, and I take the example of solar panels because we are becoming the solar capital of the world. So it's very important. So it's humanly impossible to clean an extensive farm of solar panels safely only with human intervention, but it can be done more productively and safely with humans supervising a school or a swarm of drones. That's a completely new skill that will be therefore required. How do you operate that drone over that swarm of, or as a swarm of drones over that farm of solar panels, clean them more productively, make them efficiently, kind of distribute power and create power. So therefore, the future of work must be about empowering workers to create a better connect with their workplace and the machines, but from a position of strength, serenity, and safety. And serenity is very important, especially given the volatility today that exists and the volatility which therefore impacts the worker. So to achieve this goal, workplaces must facilitate anytime skilling, which is being learning workplaces, empowering the workforce with desired hard and soft skills on the job just in time, and also at the time when they desire. Anywhere productivity. So its first is anytime skilling. The second is anywhere productivity, which is about building flexible workplaces, enabling workforce to be productive regardless of where the work happens. And third, which is very important, is all-time motivation. So it's all about anytime skilling, anywhere productivity, and all-time motivation, which is about building responsive and inclusive workplaces where workers feel purpose-driven, cared for, and free to experiment and innovate. So how does one go about building such workplaces with deep technologies? Because that's the context today. So how does one really go about doing this with deep technologies so that the future of work blossoms? We recommend 3 actions which we live by as Accenture by example. The first one is build skills with deep technologies. So use deep technologies such as augmented and virtual reality to make the workforce live and experience immersively and become productive. You can come to a stall, but there are so many others also where you can see the same principle now being applied, and which was alluded to in the opening remarks of augmentation of the workforce. So in an experiment conducted by Accenture with vocational students bestowed with the responsibility of assembling real toilets, one found that the group of participants using virtual reality demonstrated an average 12% higher accuracy and 17% faster time to completion than instructional video participants. Insights from the post-exercise survey powered by a cognitive 3D analytics program also indicated a higher level of motivation among students using virtual reality about the usefulness of their training and interest to be trained. Now that's very important. The training can be useful, but will the trainee want to come back and get trained is the most important part of this journey. And that's where augmented and virtual reality really help a lot. The second part of this journey of building the workplaces that can blossom the future of work is cultivate skills for deep technologies. So in the first part, we spoke about building skills with the deep technologies. Now the second part is cultivating skills for deep technologies. So here, collaborate with national and international platforms to build talent pools that can use deep technologies responsively, but also responsibly, because that is going to be very, very important. It's not about just being able to use AI, but to also use it responsibly. Here again, Accenture is doing its bit. Hosted on the National Digital Skilling Platform, also referred to as the Future Skills Prime Platform, a joint initiative of NASSCOM and the Ministry of IT, Accenture has curated a deep learning 250-hour-long program providing a 4-level virtual curriculum aimed at students and professionals willing to carve a niche in the domain of AI and big data analytics. To seed a responsible mindset within the users of deep technologies, Accenture helped integrate the AI and ethics discussions in AI modules under the joint initiative with Niti Aayog for K-12 students under the Atal Innovation Mission. And the last part of this entire process of building a workplace, which is, to build that symbiotic relationship between building skills with deep technologies and cultivating skills for deep technologies, is that last action, which is about building a culture of lifelong learning. Continuous learning helps workforce adapt to changing job requirements, keeps them motivated, and increases their chances of professional mobility. Accenture has introduced a technology quotient learning series, which within the organization we call TQ, and that series is really so simple and effective that we kind of learn about different technologies on it, get conversant with it. I wouldn't say, we are the technologists, but we get conversant with it, we understand it, and then we know how it's applied to the work where we, to the work that we do. Lastly, I would just say and conclude that let's recognize that the G20 nations, and especially India, stand on the cusp of creating history with demography. I still remember a famous quote of a social philosopher, Auguste Comte, who said, demography is destiny. And if demography is destiny, then I think it's our agenda. And it's not only the agenda of the government, but it is the collective agenda of all the stakeholders who want to build the destinies of these nations to focus on building workplaces that build skills with technology, deploy technology to build skills while facilitating continuous learning and exchange. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Narsle, for setting the context for future of work. The technology plays an intrinsic part of the future, and you rightly mentioned that the future of work really lies in empowering the workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Mr. Vipin Sondhi, Chairman of the CI Mission on Tech, Innovation, Research and Future Mobility, and also the former MD and CEO Ashok Leyland and JCB India, requesting him to kindly address us.
Thank you very much. Honorable Manya Mantri Ji, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, Secretary Shri Atul Tiwari, my colleagues on the dais and all delegates from industry, academia, multilateral agencies, government, and especially the students here. Namaste and a very warm welcome to all of you, and let me extend that on my behalf as well. My colleague Raghav has already explained and laid the context to this very exciting conference and laid out 3 recommendations for action. माननीय मंत्री जी, जब आप इस साल के शुरुआत में आपने बुलाया था, you highlighted the need of developing a national level roadmap for augmenting multidisciplinary research, innovation, skilling, employability, and greater academia and industry collaboration. You also stressed upon the need to bring a paradigm shift in industry-academia collaboration with a focus on technology adaptation, but ensuring that we follow a multidisciplinary approach. I believe this conference will provide a foundation and also act as a catalyst in building a strong academia, industry, and government linkage. As we go forward, this troika of academia, industry, and government must together devise innovative strategies so as to collaborate seamlessly towards building a self-sustaining ecosystem for education and skilling in order to build a future-ready workforce. Technology is now affordable, it is available, it is largely accessible, and given the enormous and instantaneous reach of the digital medium, we can leverage it to its maximum potential. This conference has been designed under your leadership, sir, with great thought, and we will do our utmost to ensure that the recommendations that come out will be implemented. Honorable Minister, I'm glad to share that the conference, we have a wide participation. We've got many senior policymakers from government, about 30-odd speakers from industry, 13 from academia, all of us together under this one roof and on a single platform. I'm sure that these 2 days will result in fruitful, productive discussions which could be instrumental in drafting a robust policy recommendation for creating a world-class, future-ready workforce. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sondhi, for your notable address. You stressed on the strong academia, industry, and government linkage, as well as partnership for a stronger and independent workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite Ambassador Atul Keshav, President USIBC and Senior Vice President of South Asia, US Chamber of Commerce, to kindly address us.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm the only visitor from overseas on the stage, and it's my first visit to Odisha. So let me give this a try, and you tell me how I do. Suprabhata. Yeah? Suprabhata and namaskara to everybody, especially to my dear friend respected Honorable Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, it is great to see you, sir. It's great to be here with you, sir. Thank you for all of your vision that has brought us all together. Really appreciate it. Friends, I bring you warm greetings from Washington, D.C., from the United States-India Business Council, where our 200-member companies have worked for 48 years to try to build the strongest possible relationship between the people and business and government of the United States and the people and business and government of the great Republic of India. Perhaps, since we are in Odisha on my first visit here, and I've had a wonderful visit, I should also mention that I bring warm greetings from Nisha Biswal, who wrote to me overnight and said how much she misses Odisha and how much she wishes she could be here with all of you. Friends, the Chamber, as you know, is heavily invested in the work of the G20. It is the official American business representative to the G20. We work very closely with CB and our CII counterparts, who are the Indian representative to the B20. And so it is a particular honor to be here at a G20 event being hosted so beautifully well by the government of India. Minister Pradhan, it is your vision, as I said, that has brought us here. Your friendship, your sense of possibility, and the realization of ambitious goals is hopefully what is going to inspire us as we work together during this important meeting. Friends, I should just say on a personal note, since this was my first visit to Odisha, and I have wanted to come here for many decades, I was very fortunate yesterday not only to see the sublime Sun Temple at Konark, but also to have the sacred darshan of Lord Jagannath at Puri. It was intensely moving and spiritual, and I felt so happy to be accompanied by my friends Sri Rupa Mitra and Samir Guduru, who are in the audience from USIBC. Truly a landmark day. Friends, I also bring you warm greetings from all of our member companies. They truly believe in the future happiness, prosperity, and wealth and health of the Indian people and work every day to achieve that. The topic that we are discussing is important. Yesterday at the Konark Temple, I saw the visualization center that showed what that beautiful temple looked like at the height of its glory. And it really gives you in concrete example what that must have been. The exhibition is fantastic, but what I want to paint for you today is not a model or a vision of what was, but a vision of what can be, and particularly offer a US-India perspective in that regard. Indeed, my friends, having worked on US-India relations for over 20 years in a personal and professional capacity, and now in this new incarnation as president of USIBC, I feel very confident in saying to you that I believe US-India relations are at a point of escape velocity. Why do I say that? Let's think back to January when the Secretary of Commerce of the United States and the National Security Advisors of the United States and India met at the US Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. to launch a new initiative on critical and emerging technologies. This was the strongest possible endorsement of both the American and Indian governments that the future of US-India relations it resides in our people, and it resides in our knowledge economies, it resides in our powerful demographics, as you mentioned, and it reposes in our hopeful vision for the future of humanity. Indeed, why are we here today? We are here today because we believe in the minister's vision of seeing the young people of tomorrow receive the skills they need in order to be thriving, happy, contributing members of society. The world is changing, my friends. I don't have to tell you this. The pandemic taught us some extremely tough lessons, both for your country and for ours. Work from home, hybrid work, new kinds of technologies, a hybrid and flexible gig economy have all changed the ways of doing business. Things that would have seemed perhaps to us like science fiction just a few years ago are now reality. One of the things that is changing our world even faster and faster is artificial intelligence. And you look at the many news stories about ChatGPT, you realize the future of work is deeply unknowable and deeply unpredictable, but that requires us to introspect quite substantially to figure out what our young people need in order to be active, successful members of the future workforce. What is clear is that business can help this. Not only are India and America thriving democracies, we have promising demographics. We're going to grow throughout this century, which cannot be said by many other countries. But we have a huge repertoire of advanced skills. And we have a huge number of people who have the desire and the hunger to learn new skills and to apply those to the modern world. So, given India's demographic advantage and given ours, it is entirely reasonable that the US and India should focus on these topics. The good news here is that industry is absolutely aligned with what the government of India is trying to do, what the United States government is trying to do, indeed what the G20 is addressing as well. If you look at India's key sustainable development goals, one of which is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. I would say that our 200 member companies, both American and Indian, are dedicated intensely to that purpose. And if you look at the skilling done by our companies, if you look at the investment in human capital, both in the corporate setting and also in corporate social responsibility, there is an intense amount of effort and energy by our companies to help uplift society and to make sure that people live better lives. In fact, just one US IBC member is working with 45,000 public health sector ASHA workers in Odisha to help minimize the incidence of malaria. And that's just one example across a galaxy of efforts in public-private collaboration between the member companies of US IBC and stakeholders in the government of India and other places. Friends, I believe, again, that the US-India partnership is on a track of escape velocity. Not only are we Quad partners, which is extremely important in the Indo-Pacific context, we also have many, many partnerships. When you think back to when I served here first as an officer in 2005, the amount and scope and breadth and depth of our collaboration is really, truly incredible now. And so there is very much that we can do. I mentioned the initiative on critical and emerging technologies. That is going to be I think, a foundational scheme in ensuring the technology convergence of our countries. But there's more yet. We have an implementation agreement for a research partnership between the US National Science Foundation and the Indian science agencies for collaboration on AI and quantum technologies, including advanced wireless technologies. We have bilateral defense industrial cooperation, space cooperation, next generation telecommunications, and so much else besides. There's the creation of a new joint task force of the Association of American Universities and leading Indian educational institutions, including IITs, which I believe will make even greater opportunity and recommendations for research and university partnerships. Many of our American tech companies are already playing a major role in skilling Indian talent in deep technology areas and working closely with the government of India, and that will also continue. In the coming days, I'm certain that there will be a plethora of initiatives that will focus specifically on furthering cooperation and facilitating the investment and infusion of capital into Indian deep tech startup ecosystems. And indeed, that is where the GDP of the future, the prosperity of the future, the jobs of the future will lie. As the Indian technology policy landscape develops further under India's visionary leadership, the opportunities for working together both at the G20 and the business-to-business levels are only going to increase further. I believe that 2023 is an inflection point for bilateral relations between the United States and India, and that this coincides so well with India's G20 hosting year. Friends, I'll close with that last thought. Between our two countries, nothing is impossible. We can do so much together, and we are poised for escape velocity. I want to thank Minister Pradhan for hosting this great event. I want to thank all of the participants, including our member companies. And I want to thank the people of Odisha for a truly memorable, marvelous, delightful first visit here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador Mr. Atul Keshav, for your very warm address, and it is extremely heartening to know the wonderful associations, partnerships, and collaborations between India and US through the chambers. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now invite Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari, Secretary of MSDE, to kindly deliver his special address.
शिक्षा एवं कौशल विकास मंत्री आदरणीय श्री धर्मेंद्र प्रधान जी, श्री चंद्रजीत बैनर्जी जी, श्री सोंधी जी, एम्बेसडर अतुल केशव जी, श्री राघव नार्सरी जी, इस सभा में उपस्थित हमारे छात्रगण, इंडस्ट्रियल कंसर्न्स, एकेडमिशियंस और आप सभी हमारे यंग मित्रगण। वसुधैव कुटुंबकम जो हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री ने जो हमें क्लेरियन कॉल दिया है, उसका एक बड़ा उद्देश्य है कि कैसे हम टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज़ करके जनता के वेलफेयर को हम बढ़ा सकें। और G20 एजुकेशन ग्रुप की जो हमारे जो डिस्कशन होते हैं, उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी पर काफ़ी फोकस दिया गया है। जिस तरह से हम लोग इंक्लूसिव, क्वालिटेटिव एंड कोलैबोरेटिव टेक्नोलॉजी एनेबल्ड लर्निंग के बारे में और बिल्डिंग कैपेसिटीज़, प्रमोटिंग लाइफ लर्निंग इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ फ्यूचर वर्क पर भी हमने चर्चा रखी हुई है। डीप टेक is at the core of shaping the future of work. It is one of the key sectors to focus for better understanding of the future of work in India. और ये एक संदर्भ है जिसके लिए हमने ये आज का वार्तालाप वर्कशॉप हमने ऑर्गेनाइज किया है। The third G20 एजुकेशन वर्क की मीटिंग कुछ दिनों में शुरू होने वाली होगी है, और हमारे और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के कॉल की इसको जन भागीदारी बनाया जाए और पीपल्स पार्टिसिपेशन बनाया जाए। और आदरणीय मंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हमने पूरे उड़ीसा स्टेट में हमने इवेंट्स प्लान आउट किए हैं जो 1 अप्रैल से शुरू हुए थे, और इनमें अब तक लगभग 1 लाख से ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स और लोगों ने जो गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट से हैं, एजुकेशनल ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूशन से हैं, इंडस्ट्रीज से हैं, रिसर्च ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से हैं, स्कूल, हायर एजुकेशन, वोकेशनल एजुकेशन फैकल्टी, सब लोगों ने बढ़ बढ़ के इसमें बड़ी श्रद्धा के साथ इसमें भाग लिया है। आज जैसे आपने देखा, आदरणीय मंत्री जी ने उसका उद्घाटन किया। फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क एग्जीबिशन को भी हम लेके आए हैं, जिसमें लगभग 75 एग्जीबिटर्स हैं जो कैसे फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क हमारे जीवन के तमाम पहलुओं को आधारभूत तरीके से परिवर्तन करेगा, उसके बारे में हमने ये एग्जीबिशन रखा है जो आप सबको काफ़ी पसंद भी आएगा और हमें आगे के बारे में सोचने में भी सहायता मिलेगी। इन एडिशन टू द डीप कॉन्फ्रेंस टुडे, हम लोग एक और कॉन्फ्रेंस कल कर रहे हैं जो सस्टेनेबल लॉजिस्टिक्स इन कोस्टल इकोनॉमीज़ में होगी। इसका भी फ्यूचर वर्क से काफ़ी संबंध है। फिर हमने एक स्किल आर्किटेक्चर एंड गवर्नेंस मॉडल ऑफ इंडिया एंड सिंगापुर में भी हमने एक वर्कशॉप रखा हुआ है। और 26 तारीख को हमने बिल्डिंग कैपेसिटीज़ फॉर लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द फ्यूचर ऑफ वर्क भी हमने रखा हुआ। ये सारी प्रीकर्सस मीटिंग्स हमारे वर्किंग ग्रुप मीटिंग जो अप्रैल 27 को शुरू होगी उसके पहले संबंध होंगे, और ये सारे इवेंट्स हमें एक अपॉर्चुनिटी देंगे ताकि हम रिफ्लेक्ट कर सकें कि हम कहाँ पे हैं, हम ब्रेनस्टॉर्म कर सकें कि हमें कहाँ जाना चाहिए, और हम कैसे कॉन्सेंसस के मेथड से इनोवेटिव तरीके से आउट ऑफ बॉक्स सॉल्यूशंस लेके हम अपने इश्यूज एंड चैलेंजेस को हैंडल कर पाएंगे। फ्यूचर वर्क के माध्यम से आज हमारी कंट्री में हमारी एक स्टडी की गई जिसके द्वारा ये पता चलता है कि हमारे पास टैलेंट सरप्लस काफ़ी ज़्यादा है। और आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो स्किल प्रवासी भारतीय दिवस में उन्होंने जो कहा था, वो मैं इसका उल्लेख करना चाहूँगा। India has the opportunity to become not only a knowledge center but also the skill capital of the world. India has capable youth with skill, values, passion and honesty for work. India's skill capital can become the engine of global growth. इस संदर्भ में इस अमृत काल में हमें एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है जो हम कैसे प्रॉस्पेरिटी लेके आएँ और कैसे पीपल को हम ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकें टेक्नोलॉजी के माध्यम से। मेरा विश्वास है कि आज का कॉन्फ्रेंस हमें नए इंसाइट देगा, पॉलिसी डायरेक्शंस देगा, ताकि हम स्किलिंग के बारे में, रीस्किलिंग, एजुकेशन के बारे में और कैसे हम डीप टेक सिस्टम को लेकर आएँ, इसमें हमें काफ़ी सहायता होगी। I would like to thank my address by thanking our honorable, I would like to end my address by thanking Honorable Minister Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji. उनके नेतृत्व में देश में पहली बार और नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी के तत्वाधान में एजुकेशन और स्किलिंग में आधारभूत परिवर्तन हो रहे हैं और आज जो हम जिस जगह पे हैं उससे हम कहीं आगे बढ़ के जाएंगे, जिससे ये ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल फाउंडेशनल चेंजेस से ही हमें डीप टेक को, फ्यूचर वर्क को आत्मसात करने में सहायता होगी। मैं आप सब की ओर से आदरणीय मंत्री जी का धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा और उनके विजन के मुताबिक हमने ये वर्कशॉप ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया है और इस संदर्भ में मैं CSIR IMMT के लोगों को, IIT भुवनेश्वर फॉर नोडल कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए, all anchors standalone institutions which have supported the Jan Bhagidari event held across the state, NSDC and knowledge partner CIA Deloitte को और ISB को मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा। बहुत बहुत नमस्कार।
Thank you, Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari ji, for your special address and sharing the various innovative initiatives of the ministry, both in skilling and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a proud son of the soil. His calling to serve his motherland came at a very tender age. One of the youngest MLAs at that time to be awarded the Utkalamani Samman for his extraordinary contribution to the society. Having been elected to the Lok Sabha from the Deoghar constituency, he was immensely contributed to the welfare of his constituency. He is very well known as the Ujjwala man, having implemented Honorable Prime Minister's vision for the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana in record time, bringing much solace to millions of women in the country. IIM Ahmedabad published a working paper on lighting up lives through cooking gas and transforming society on this. As former petroleum minister, he has led some very key decisions in the hydrocarbon sector by bringing in a new hydrocarbon exploration and licensing policy. He has also led consumer initiatives like PEHEL, which is the world's largest direct benefit transfer scheme, and the Give It Up campaign. He has been driving India's energy transition, balancing India's energy demand and India's commitment to climate change mitigation efforts. During his brief tenure as Minister Steel, he has also launched the Mission Purvadaya in steel sector to drive transformation of Eastern India to the growth of the steel industry, which has a majority presence all over Eastern India. As Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, he has launched many key initiatives focusing on reskilling and upskilling the manpower of India and focusing on bridging the skill gap for the Indian youth. Under his leadership, various national institutes like IIT Bhubaneswar, IIM Sambalpur, NIT Rourkela, IISER and the Skill Development Institute are changing the higher education scenario in the state. Under the national level, several premier educational institutes are creating the future of the country. Under his guidance and leadership, skill development, education, and entrepreneurship have found a cohesive collaboration which is bringing the youth and others wings to pursue the dreams and achieve economic independence and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my proud privilege to welcome and invite Honorable Minister for Skill Development, Entrepreneurship and Education, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, on his Janmabhoomi, Odisha, inviting him to kindly deliver the keynote address on this momentous occasion.
जय जगन्नाथ, नमस्कार। Sri Atul Tiwari, Secretary, Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, our guest, Ambassador Atul Keshav, President, US IBC, and Senior Vice President, South Asia US Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General, CII, Mr. Raghav Nasle, Managing Director, Accenture Research, Mr. Bipin Sondhi, Chairman, CII Mission on Tech, Innovation and Research and Future Mobility, distinguished dignitaries in the hall, senior officials from different Ministry of Government of India, Government of Odisha, my dear students, senior academicians of different university and institutions, my dear students and my friends from media. I welcome all of you in Odisha, in Bhubaneswar, in IIMT. IIMT is one among the premier science laboratory of our country, looking into new technology, new innovations in sector of mines and mineral. Our national leadership after independence envision the scientific development of our country, economic growth of our country. IIMT is one of the premier institutes where we all are together here. I am here not as a guest, as a host. Rightly, the anchor said, in my Karma Bhumi, Janma Bhumi, in my home state, in the place of Lord Jagannath, in the Bhubaneswar, the temple city, we are here to plan the future of the job, reimagine the future of skills. We are all here on the sideline of G20 summit. India is now presiding over the G20 forum. And Odisha has a background of skill. Here in Bhubaneswar, the old Lingaraj temple is there. I am happy Atulji yesterday visited the Saint Temple Konark and Lord Jagannath's Temple Puri. They all are 1,000 years old. India has a empirical evidence of global trade and commerce in the different part of world, and Odisha was one among the pioneer state, premier state of global trade and commerce. In the coastal belt of Odisha, archaeologists are now coming out with fact, habitation are 3,000 years old. That means, and recently one of my researcher friends showed me a picture. In the Sun Temple of Konark, there is a statue of giraffe. Giraffe are usually found in Africa. That means 1,000 years ago, the local population has an imagination of giraffe. That means trade link was there between Africa and India. We all know there is a great linkage between Southeast Asia, present day Southeast Asia and Odisha. Sri Lankans are always proud their heritage from their linkage with Odisha. I am welcoming all of you in the great civilizational place of Odisha. And rightly we are discussing a very important topic, how the jobs will be created, how the interest of youngsters of the entire human civilization of next century will be thought upon in such an important place on the sideline of G20. I am thankful to Prime Minister Modi through his visionary leadership. Not only he stops at G20 forum only, important countries from the world will get together G20 platform. That our Prime Minister involved some of the agencies and countries. Taking forward that responsibility a little bit further, as we said, in India we always believe and we always plan for the entire universe. That's for our main theme of this G20 is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means we have a global responsibility. Our motto is for one earth and one family and for one future. Now, when the G20 is moving forward in India, more aspiration and more responsibility concept is also coming up. When we're talking about more responsibility, recently Prime Minister organized a summit of global South countries. More than 136 developing countries came on a one platform, the invitation of Prime Minister Modi with one motto. Prime Minister said to all these countries, tell me about your aspiration, tell me about your problems, tell me about your expectation from the so-called civilized section of the world. Unless until we plan about the entire humanity, we cannot function in isolation. So India's presidency is going to add new chapters, new diplomatic features in this G20 summit. And this G20 is going to deliberate in all aspects of human interests. And today we all are here on the silent with third working group from Education and Skills Summit. This workshop begins today. I am happy the local state government has also organized a 2-day conclave on the 21st and 20th and 21st of this month. And in a way, this is a week-long debate, deliberation, discussion on the area of future of the skills. And India is now implementing national education policy. As I said always, national education policy is not only a document of, it's not a brochure, it's a document, philosophical document for global responsibility. What will happen in future? Today's India's population is around, if we go by the today's population, India's population is around 141.7 crore. Out of that, the young population is around 35% of that population. From age group of 15 to 35, 34, 35% of that population is of this age group. By next, when India would be completing its Amrit Kal, by 2047, India will be having 25% of young population of the entire globe only in India. That means, in the morning when we were discussing with Atul, our good friend from USIBC, he was discussing with me about the changing geopolitics of the globe. China is the present day production center of the globe. Material is not going to influence the future of the civilization. Human nature is going to influence the human future. India is a natural place. India has talent. India has captive market with its new aspiration. India has its own resource. Essentially, India is a knowledge society. In the 21st century, there is a unanimous in the entire human civilization. 21st century is going to be a knowledge-based century. And India is going to lead on that. lead role on that. And fortunately, we all are implementing NEP. NEP has a mandate and responsibility to look into the global aspiration. This COVID-19 shows us a new challenge, put a new challenge in front of us. Work from home 5 years ago was a non-existent concept in the major part of the world. Today, work from home is a reality. People are working from their own home, from their own drawing room, from their own bedroom, during the different time zone, in the different period of the day. They're interacting with the different part of the globe according to the changing time zone. The automation, mechanization, digitalization, with disruptive innovation and technology, the old jobs are vanishing, the new kind of jobs are emerging. The workforce need continuous skilling, reskilling and upskilling. Sometime back, I talked to one of my close friends, the Deloitte's then global head, Puneet Ranjan. I asked him, what are you doing? He said, I am in a classroom. He was supposed to be retired by next month. I asked Puneet, why are you in a classroom? What are you doing there? In my concept, at age of 60, people are supposed to retire and enjoy. But he said, I am in a classroom. When I inquired further, he said, there is a mandate from my company, unless until I upskill myself, I may not get my retirement bonus. This is a changing world, friends. Every day we have to upskill ourselves. There is no luxury. There is no liberty in front of us. Today, our Co-Win app has created a global benchmark. Our digital UPI payment platform is gradually enhancing its base to the different part of the globe. If today there is 100 rupees transaction in the entire globe, in the digital platform, 40% are happening in India only. This is the new digital capacity of India. That means we have to upskill ourselves. And the technology has its unique nature. Nowadays, nobody is going to bank. In the mid of the night, the workman coming from his workplace to his home, he is going to ATM and taking care of his bank account. He is a techno-savvy person. Technology is a great equalizer. Our handset may be changed from hands to hand with its own price, but technology is one. No one is now concerned about talking time. Now people are concerned about what is the cost of data. These are the new reality in the world. The entire world is squeezing and shrinking. With this scenario, and new things are also adding up. Few days back, nobody was knowing about ChatGPT. But nobody is now not affected by ChatGPT. Everybody is affected by ChatGPT. Now this is a competition between God-gifted human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Which one will prevail on whom is a matter of debate now. Few years ago, nobody was knowing about hyperloops. Today, I am happy to see the exhibition organized by NSDC. The concept of hyperloops is there in Bhubaneswar now. That means, on the fraction of a second, I will ask, I'll think about a taxi, think about a mobility vehicle. On my glass, there will be a system. I'll just think, in the blink of second, it will come to my doorstep, because I will think. My AI will catch my natural intelligence. The technologies are not far away. It will be on the reality. Siri is now doing all such things. I am giving command to Siri. Siri, go and fix an appointment with my dear elder brother Behra Sahab, and check his appointment whether he is free or not. After a few seconds, Siri is talking to Mr. Behra's telephone and coming back to me. Yes, he is not available. Sorry. Mr. Behra said you are not permitted to meet him. This is a reality. Now further things will go out. I will, this chat GPT, AI and my natural intelligence will talk together. My dear friend Atul Kasab is available or not? I would like to talk to him. He will give me a command. This is all related to hyperloops kind of thing. This is not far away from city like Bhubaneswar. Nobody was knowing about the moonlighting. I was not knowing the concept of moonlighting. That means a person can work. All my IT friends are now laughing. Whether it's a bad thing or a good thing, it has time will say. Some company are on this opinion. No, this war ethics is compromised. Somebody are saying this is opportunity. Why a person intelligence capacity, intellectual capacity will be limited to one client only? This debate will go on. This is a new skilling system. This is a reimagining of jobs. Today in the exhibition we saw new technology on healthcare, new technology on mobility, technology intervention in agriculture. Today agriculture means field, bullock carts, plowing instrument and a poor farmer. Mark my word, within the next 3 years in Odisha's paddy field, Odisha's agricultural field, pant, shirt, clad, boys and girls will be working and operating a drone in that area. This is not far away, it's a reality today. I saw a section in exhibition where the handloom handicraft, conventional handloom handicraft with little bit of value addition, creating new imagination. The days are not far away when the poor weaver from Kotpad will get an order from White House. It's not far away. The Kotpad handloom or Sambalpuri handloom or Maniabans handloom of Odisha, when go to Paris Fashion Street. Mr. Mishra is there, he will create, he will be the first person. Mr. Rautra and Mr. they are the first pioneer person to catch that opportunity. It's not far away. All these things has to be discussed, planned, deliberate in this 6 days conference. Tomorrow, we are going to deliberate on maritime economy, on mineral-based economy. Do you know? Australia is a developed economy today. If I put together Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha's mineral resource production capacity, the material movement capacity, it will be equal with Australia. See the position of Australia and see the position of India, Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Logistics is the major bottleneck in Indian manufacturing industry. We have to think with a new approach that relates to future of the job. There is no dearth of quality manpower. In Bhubaneswar, if I can cite, IIT is there, NIT is also in Odisha, AIMS AIMS is in Odisha, Institute of Physics is there, IIMT is there, Institute of Life Science is there, ICMR is in there, IIM is also in Odisha, IJR kind of institutions are in Odisha. I am talking only about Odisha. And some of the premier private universities are also emerging in Odisha. That means there is no dearth of talent pool in Odisha. What lacks? It lacks a imagination. It lacks a information. It lacks a confidence building measure. That's the reason we all are here together to look into the future need, future challenge, future requirement of the human civilizations. And Prime Minister Modi rightly said, in future we no more needs degrees, certificates. Economy, commerce, trade, industry needs competency. Competency relates to skilling system. And this national education policy of 2020 envision in the similar way. The new credit framework has been implemented. I saw today in MAIT's exhibition, Academic Bank of Credit, DigiLocker, Skill India portal. These are the new orders of the time. And rightly, we all result in one point, unless until the academicians, the academic institution should know what is the requirement in the market, what is the emerging sector in the market. And industry should rely on our Indian institutions, whether it is government one or the private one. Unless until there is a marriage between these two institutions, there is another important institution, me and my dear friend Atul Tiwari. We have a notion, we know everything. Really, we know Mr. Tiwari and me putting together, we know little bit about the thing. Market is driven by industry. Institutions are here to produce quality manpower. Our job is not to create hindrance and hurdles. I promise we will not create hindrance and hurdles. When we are talking about future skills, future mapping, reimagination, we all have to come together, and three important institutions have to come together. We have to involve industry. We have to involve the new generation. Today, India is the number 3 country in the startup ecosystem. This is the opportunity. And semiconductor, energy, sustainable energy, especially area like solar and hydrogen, the healthcare area. This year's COVID, last few years, COVID has shown us a way. Our vaccine network, our medicine producing capacity, our medical equipment productions capacity. I am happy to inform all of you, recently our local Indian IIT Bhubaneswar and AIMS Bhubaneswar has come together to create a collaborative course. Doctors who know the machine part of the healthcare system, and engineers of IIT should know the sensitivity of the medicine part of the knowledge ecosystem. This is the recommendation of national education policy. I urge upon the academician, I urge upon the startup persons, startups, young friends, those who are really involved in the startup system. Now in the 21st century, our responsibility is to create job provider, not job seeker. India's young population needs more job. If everybody will be job seeker, who will be job provider? The startup ecosystem has shown us a way. The young and talented persons of India can be job provider to the entire global requirement. Global South is depending on you. The entire African country and South African Southeast Asian countries are depending on you. Let us come together, and I am happy to conclude with these words. With lot of aspiration, lot of enthusiasm. One of my friends said the demography is the destiny. Now, Lady Destiny is with India. With this kind of young population and this kind of collaboration, let us convert this opportunity of G20 deliberation to our opportunity. Let us redefine the definition of skill. बंधुगण स्किल रो अर्थ नुहे आईटीआई पास करथुबा बंधु माने, स्किल रो अर्थ नुहे डिप्लोमा पढ़िथिबा पिला माने, स्किल रो अर्थ नुहे केवल स्क्रू ड्राइवर, मोटर मैकेनिक किंबा मोबाइल शॉप रे बसिकी रिपेयर करिबा काम. न्यू इमेजिनेशन, री-इमेजिनेशन of skill means operating hyperloops. New imagination of skills means managing. I saw a young professionals in Bhubaneswar few days back who is providing legal service to its global clients and earning, his turnover is more than 3 crore in a financial year. This is the new skills. आमको इमती भाबिबा पाई पड़िबो. Internet, mobility, global connectivity give us an opportunity to think about the global requirement in Bhubaneswar, in Odisha, in any part of India. With our thinking capacity, with our internal strength. India's strength is its mathematics. India's strength is its deep tech learning. Machine is now to the Western world, to the developed economy, machine is the answer. But Indian civilization is always given us inspiration how a human being can think bigger things. This is the civilizational root of our society. बंधुगण यही पे भारत को एक अवसर अच्छी. Rightly Prime Minister said, if we can plan properly, India can be the global hub for the skilled manpower of the global requirement. We have to come together. I am happy with Ministry of Skill Development and Education, with Government of India's entire whole of government approach, industry body like CII, USIBC, institution like ISB, our local education institutions, and consultant friends like Deloitte. We all are here together to deliberate, discuss and reimagine not only our own requirement, the entire requirement of entire globe, the whole requirement of entire globe. I congratulate all of you. I am happy to inform, and today is a very auspicious day, Akshaya Tritiya. In Odia, believe in Lord Jagannath's, as a disciple of Lord Jagannath, we all believe today is the most auspicious day of the society. Today, the chariot building work starts. Ratha ajitu arambha hue. 1st April was the foundation day of Odisha. This group has started this interaction with Odia society, Odia youngsters from 1st April. I am happy to inform more than 1 lakh youngsters has been involved in this Jan Bhagidari movement. With leadership of Prime Minister Modi, we will be successful. More aspiration, more responsibility, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam will be fulfilled. And NEP is the one of the primary instrument, primary catalyst to fulfill this achievement. Again, I congratulate all the stakeholders, welcome all the stakeholders in this conference. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhan Ji, for your noteworthy keynote address. And as you rightly said, that Odisha has long had a history of skilling. through its art, architecture, and history, but now those skills need reimagination. Sir, you are indeed our pride at the center, and we at Odisha could not be more proud and inspired to be a part of this vast Vasundhaiva Kutumbakam G20 family. May I now request everyone to please put your hands together once again in gratitude of Honorable Minister's immense guidance and inspiration to all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now present a token of our appreciation through handcrafted mementos. So may I firstly request Secretary Shri Atul Kumar Tiwari ji to do the honors in presenting this memento to our Honorable Minister. A beautiful handcrafted Talapatra painting or palm leaf painting. May I request Mr. Vipin Sondhi ji to please do the honors in presenting the rest of the mementos. Firstly, to our Secretary, Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari ji. Thank you. May I request you to present the next memento to Ambassador Mr. Atul Keshap. The next one to Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee. Mr. Sondhi, may I please request you to present the next one to Mr. Raghav Narsle. The beautiful palm leaf handcrafted memento. Thank you, Mr. Sondhi. We will now present a memento to Mr. Vipin Sondhi. And finally, before we wrap up, may I request Mr. Vipin Sondhi to kindly make his closing remarks.
On behalf of CII, I'd like to thank the Honorable Minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, for initiating these precursor conferences. Sir, the passion, knowledge, imagination comes straight from the heart in your Janmabhoomi. We look forward to under your able leadership to guide us as we reimagine jobs towards a future-ready India. I'd like to thank Secretary Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari and his team of dedicated officers who've worked tirelessly in transforming this idea into a reality. I would particularly like to thank Ms. Sonal Mishra, Joint Secretary, and Ms. Archana Mayaram, Economic Advisor, whose extreme hard work and many a recce here have resulted in this conference today. I'd like to thank officials from the Ministry of Education for their support in putting this program together. My thanks to CB, the DG of CII, of rallying all of us in industry together in bringing the best speakers for this conference. My sincere thanks to Ambassador Atul Keshap, President USI BC, for gracing us and, in your words, as the only overseas speaker. I'd like to thank Raghav Narsale, Managing Director Accenture Research, for setting up a very succinct yet impactful context to the future of work, and to the NSDC team led by Mr. Ved Tiwari and Mr. Manish Mishra for organizing the conference and the exhibition. and on behalf of CII, most of all to all of you, the attendees, the delegates, media, I hope you will have an engaging, productive, and fruitful days ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. With this, we close the inaugural program. May I request everyone to please remain with us in the auditorium. Kindly remain with us. We will begin the panel discussion just a few moments from now.